got quite a few players back this week, guys that were involved earlier in the same tournaments. So it's not completely new guys that are coming in. Strong team, obviously, for Saturday. Feeling good once again.
Yeah, I think it's great to have guys of the quality of Peter, Steph, Marvin, JD, Ruan coming back was really boosted for us at the right time. We did well to get through last week, albeit fortunately. So it is a bit of a boost, but as you say, they've all played this tournament, and so it's nothing. It's constructive, not disruptive.
Okay, and the week so far. I mean, we've had now 3 days of good training. How are the guys feeling?
Good. No, we're good. No niggles, good energy. I think more obviously a bit more cheerful after last week's just the result. So yeah, good.
I can see you've now had 3 games in a row that you've been playing. Is everyone feeling like we're getting some momentum? Obviously, the win helps a lot. But are we feeling like nice and cohesive as a unit?
Yeah, definitely. I think this week we just really worked hard on our systems and things that we really try to figure out in the game, and we're getting good momentum in those areas. And I think as a team, we're starting to gel properly after a very disruptive time building up to the Rainbow Cup. So really excited for the team and really pushing in the right direction.
Always good for team morale when you get a win on the road, right? And we've actually got 3 away games in a row. So it's almost like we've got that momentum of having one at Ellis Park, which is obviously always tough. But now we've got another away game. It's a chance to kind of harness that and take that momentum forward.
No, definitely away games gives you a lot of confidence, even though it was a nail biter at the end of the day. But definitely took that confidence and that momentum into Monday, and you could really see it during the preparation in the week. But the guys really excited to face the Sharks again. Another opening nail biter.
Cool. All right, guys. Over to you for questions for these two.
Dobbo, can you confirm if you'll be going with a 6-2 split on the bench if all players test negative for COVID?
No, I can't confirm that yet. Obviously a lot of rain expected in Durban and on the weekend, so we just want to see what those conditions look like, and then we'll decide the split of the bench. So I can't confirm that yet.
Gavin, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry, Dobbo, just the selection at loose forward. Billy's gone from 8 to 7, and now he's gone to 6. And you left out Marcel. Is that a stylistic thing? When I say stylistic, I mean sort of loose. You're sort of looking at your balance of your back row and what you might be expecting from the Sharks selection.
I think a couple of things, Gav. One of which is, look, Billy has played 6 before, and it was probably more from our own internal thing. The guys in the Springbok alignment camp, we got him on loan, and then we're not going to choose him. And Evan Roos, to our mind, is exceptional. Obviously, Peter Steph. So
just losing you there for a second.
So I was just saying, Gavin, that it was more about our own loose trio. That I don't know if you can hear me, Gav.
I can hear you now. I wasn't hearing you just now. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that it was more. Obviously we're expecting a physical game, and rain could be makes it a bit tighter, and that's obviously. Villy's a very physical player, but the main reason for it was that Villy has played 6 before, and he's a guy, in the lineman camps and obviously in the national frame. To leave him out for such a big game would be odd. And Evan Roos has done really, really well at 8. He's been really, really, really great for us, and with Peter Steph. So it was more a question of trying to get 4 into 3, which is a bit tricky. So I'm pretty comfortable with what we chose, and also that, as I said, the physicality of it.
Thanks.
Dobbo, just on the game itself, I know you said you're expecting a lot of rain, but judging from how you went in Cape Town against the Sharks, obviously the 2 red cards had a massive influence on the game. Do you expect to do the same against them, what you did in Cape Town, or are you going in with something different?
Look, the conditions are gonna affect it. You probably got a team with probably kick the most in the competition, and us, with our own sort of skill set and quite a big pack. So yeah, it's going to depend largely on the conditions. I don't think we'll get the same from there. They scored a couple of nice offloading tries. They put us under pressure cups around out 22. I'm not sure the conditions will allow for exactly the same as last time. Our plan is to be equipped for both, to be equipped for the sort of reasonably high tempo, high ball and play game that we played over the last 3 weeks, but also if we need to work in the wet with the pack, we're prepared for that.
But when it does rain in Durban, it normally really does rain. I mean, it's not winter rainfall normally, and normally it does come down. Do you think that would favour you? I mean, having the sort of certainly the more name players in your pack.
Look, I think the arguments both ways to whether it favours us. Like I said, their kicking game, they kick a lot. They're used to kicking, which obviously suits the wet weather. Trying to turn us. Versus our, large degree, I suppose our pack may have a bit, as you say, slightly bigger name. So that's probably going to balance itself out.
Tobo, did you guys manage to fix the ball in the air play, or did you manage to take a look at that, getting under the high ball, what you wanted to fix after the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think you did rightly. It wasn't good the last couple of weeks. That's something we've worked. We're expecting a massive aerial battle this weekend, and we've trained a hell of a lot around that. Both us kicking contestables, chasing our own contestables, receiving their contestables, and set up after receiving contestables. It's been a massive part of our week's preparation. So look, whether it's fixed or not, we'll find out on Saturday. But we have worked hard on it.
Coach, sorry, I've got a question for Stephen Kitts, but let me just ask you a question, Coach. Have you guys given a reason why you guys have decided to name the team on Wednesday?
Purely practical reasons. We're traveling on Friday late morning. We have to announce the team, we have to be at the airport quite early, and we have to announce the team minimum of 24 hours before the game. Also, reluctant to bring kids and everybody another day off tomorrow. They worked hard this week, so that's purely the reason. Just because we wouldn't be able to get a reliable time within the 24 deadline if we're on airplanes and that sort of stuff. So that's the only reason. We'll do it while the team's together. We're all on the same page, like we just finished training out. So just because of that, it's practical, please.
Steven, net 'n vraag Steven, kan ek jou vra om die laptop gewoon na jou te skuif en jy's bietjie uitgeskoot hier asseblief, Steven. Ek wil net vra, julle speel natuurlik hier naweek in Durban teen 'n span wat bietjie they're hurting at the moment. Dink jy daai span gaan ook net soos julle desperaat wees om 'n goeie vertoning op te sit, veral teen julle wat besoekers is wat op in Durban kom speel teen hulle?
Ja, ek dink die laaste 20 minute van daai Sharks Bulls games was it's bietjie taaf geweest op hulle. So ek dink hulle gaan desperaat wees. Enige span wat opdaag en goeie game wil speel is altyd desperaat vir 'n wen. So ek dink dit gaan, as die bal nat gaan wees, gaan dit bietjie meer tight wees. So dit gaan baie meer set piece georiënteerd wees. Scrums, mauls gaan so belangrik wees vir die naweek. So en dis goed waar ons gewerk het hierdie week is ons maul attack en ons en dominant scrums. So dit gaan 'n groot faktor wees in die game, en as ons daai fase van die game kan domineer, veral met 'n as die bal nat is, dan hooplik kan ons die deurtrek vir onsself.
Stephen, it was a bit of a weird game for you guys last week in the sense, I'm talking about your scrumming, your primary sort of role, because for a long time there were hardly any scrums in the game. I mean, obviously in a wet weather game, there's a possibility of there being more of those. That would probably, I mean, you'd be pleased if there were more scrums, obviously, but looking at your strengths.
No, definitely. I think the first scrum was 24 minutes in the Lions game, so didn't really have opportunity, and I think the Lions really stepped it up when it came to scrums. They really put up a dominant performance, put us under a bit of pressure. So it's one of the things we really looked at this week that needs fixing. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's a key factor for us this weekend against the Sharks.
Would it be fair to say, though, because there were so few scrums, that sort of does help the sort of underdog pack in a way, because you can't really sort of work your slow poison if you only have, like, I think there were 3 scrums or something in the first hour.
No, definitely. Scrums is always seen as a bowling innings and almost winning the ref over with the pictures you give him. So only having your first scrum in the 24th minute, you don't really have that chance to actually bowl on that and start getting confidence during the game. So that does give a non, or say a pack that's a bit of an underdog opportunity, but it is still our job to every scrum is a new scrum, and you have to be as dominant as what you were previous week. So it's important for us to pitch up with that mentality this weekend.
Thanks.
Stephen, talking about the scrums, just how important is it? I know that the three guys in front do a lot of work, but how important is the back five, especially the new guys coming in? What difference will they make, especially like a guy like Marvin Ori and Peter Steff?
It's massive. A lot of our work revolves around the back five. The work we do in the week, in prepping for scrums. So they bring the pure power. It's the front three, myself, Bongi, and Skara. We do all the technical work, and they just bring pure power. So for them to pitch up, and it's as important for us, for them to have a good scrummaging game as it is for them, for us to lift well and more well. So we work with each other like that.
And Davo, just your thoughts on that, just those guys coming back and how much firepower will they add?
Oh, look, I think they're all high quality players. It's two Springboks in the pack and a guy who's a SAA or SA Tourist and JD. So no, it's given us a bit of optimism. I mean, the Sharks pack, it's when I said earlier to Gav about the kicking game versus their pack. Their pack's big, heavy. We've struggled to move them before in Super Rugby just before the lockdown. Admittedly, Kitsy went off in France. I think it was front of honour. I can't remember Kitty Tory's pick. We were under a bit of pressure. You know, Ox and Thomas aren't easy to move. It's going to take a lot of work. You know, so that their return gives us a bit more. You know, as you suggested, Nani, the back five is vital to the scrums, and their return will help us in that regard. I mean, we're expecting a Titanic battle up front. I mean, it's a really big, heavy Sharks pack as well.
No, but there's been talking about weight. Not that I think the selection would be about weight. There've been hints out of Durban that they might do what you did with Sia right at the beginning of last year and play him at number 8 and bring in a sort of specialist number 6 in what's his name, James Fenter. How much will that change the Sharks' approach, and how much would that impact on you if they do that?
I think we just have to be. I'd be surprised if they went that route. But if they do, and let's say we hear a guy like Marius Lowe's back and James Fenter's on the field, then obviously and Thomas can steal. We know that we have to be really accurate to the breakdown. You know, we did really well with the Bulls a couple of weeks ago where Marco got 1 penalty and Dwayne didn't get a steal. We worked really hard on that, and we weren't expecting that we haven't that threat this week. But if that's the way they go, then we'll just have to be really sharp on our reaction because but I expect that. I haven't seen. Look, I've got no clue, but I think they'll probably try to go with quite a big pack. So maybe you might see a guy like JJ in the mix. You might see a physical carrier like Timberline Bolly. We expect. So we're preparing for both.
Steven, hoe vertroue gee dit vir jou om sulke ervare manne weer terug in jou groep te hê? Veral daai twee Springbokke wat deel van die 4 man is wat terugkom.
Ja, baie. Ek dink Peter Steff bring 'n groot rol en baie, wat kan mens sê, calmness in die pak. So ek weet hy ken sy job en hy weet om hard te werk, maar ook as tyd taaf raak kan jy rely op hom om veel momentum te stop of momentum te kry. So dis great om ou soos JD, Marvin en Pietie terug te hê in die span. Ek bedoel hulle bring baie ervare en calmness na die game toe.
Robert, just on the selection front, you gave Abner a vote of confidence, and then also Dan du Plessis. Can he consider himself a bit unlucky?
Yeah, Abner. Timmer isn't. Look, Abner. We as I said before, we can't. Yeah, guys have played 2 games or 2.5 in a year and a bit. It's so, and it showed some really good signs. We couldn't discard him just based on that. It was a tough day for him against the Bulls. Showed a bit of fight. He showed some fight last week. Timmer's not 100% fit either. They're going to have to share the game. But yeah, we're going to back Abner, like I've said before. Cades obviously was a big loss for us, but Abner's shown enough potential for us to really to back him. Dan is unlucky. The Ruanel, I think we missed out and out 13, so I'm very pleased he's back. And and it's funny, and Ricketts was outstanding last week. He really was brilliant. So it's tough on Dan. It was a really awkward conversation this week to leave him out, but again, 3 into 2 don't go. But I mean, it's probably something we'll chucker around over the next few games. You can't leave. Dan doesn't deserve to be dropped out of the squad, but for this week, we felt that was our best combination.
Mikey. Just a couple of months ago into last year's Currie Cup and then Unlocked, you mentioned that you might have pushed the guys in training a bit too much and they came up short in some of the games. But the guys are running a full 80 minutes, playing 80 plus minutes, losses and wins. Do you think you found the balance in when to push them during training and when to just relax with them?
Yeah, I do. I do think we've got a good balance at the moment. You know, the fact that we're getting the big guys like Kitsi on my left and France to scrum and maul as well as they had. I think we've got the most mauling meetings in this comp. We've got the most scrum penalties. You know, I think we'd all agree that we're playing a relatively decent style of rugby. And as you suggest, we are there at the end of all games. I don't think any of the last 3 games have been, you know, they've been in doubt every time the Hooters sounded. So I'm very pleased with that balance in terms of our conditioning that we've got and the ability to do this really heavy moving as well as some running. I'm quite pleased with. I'm pleased with that.
But just throwing ahead, I understood last week when you left out Peter Steff, you spoke about Springbok resting protocols. So I would assume then that a couple of your Springboks and your big name players have to rest one of the 2 remaining games. You've got a bye next week, and then you've got a Loftus. I'm correct. I would imagine then that you're probably sort of throwing as you would say, the full metal jacket at these next 2 games, either side of the bar, and then probably resting some of the guys in that final game in Cape Town Stadium.
Yeah, that's the sort of the loose plan, Gavin. A couple of guys are already done, but we would have to do maybe one at Loftus. But we'll go other than that as strong as we can, and then, but you know, like you know, we obviously mostly focusing on 2 really like the 2 props probably, but we're really blessed with the depth we've got there. So I think you're pretty accurate. I said there will be one definitely we'll have to do at Loftus, but the rest are pretty accurate.
Thanks. And just one final thing, sorry, but whilst you're there, whilst I've got a chance to ask you, has there been any updates on Salman?
No update. He's clinically really good, and he's not reporting any symptoms or that sort of thing. But as I always said, we wanted to be really secure, take our time with that, you know, because it's not something you mess around with. But no, he's looking good.
Thanks.
Double, sorry,
John, sorry,
if I missed it.
Okay,
Thanks, Jan. Just on David Meyezen, is it purely just because the other guys are back, that he misses out entirely after stepping up?
Yeah, look, that was one of the great. That was one of the success stories of last week. You know, he's under pressure. Got a lot of criticism for the lineups against the Bulls when he was probably our 3rd caller because Saman, Marvin, somebody, JD were out, and he comes back and does 100% at Ellis Park. He's unlucky to miss out. He has got a niggle. At the moment, didn't train today, so that probably helped the decision. He could have been on the bench, but you know, he's got a big role to play for us, and we didn't want to sort of push him too much. So yeah, pretty happy with where he's at. I mean, we do have to manage. You know, we're back to full strength at lock now. Well, no, we're not. Sorry, still some man. So we do have to manage that position quite carefully. Yeah.
All right, last question from Jan, guys.
Dubbo, obviously, now that there's a trophy in the form of a place in a final for this competition, how does it impact on the results? I mean, obviously, the Bulls are unbeaten. You're halfway. It's a short tournament. So the next 3 weeks, getting results, how significant and important is that?
The results, look, I don't think the final is something that we've even, I know it was a big thing up elsewhere, but we haven't even talked about it. I think we say, you know, we heard today that school sports off, maybe other sports to other things to follow. So when that final takes place, it does dented by those 2 losses. So for us, we kind of win every single game we can now. And we obviously, you know, even by virtue of having lost 2 games, even where we do that, might not be enough to make it. But for us, it's hell of important that we do the results over the next 3 weeks or 3 games rather. So no, the final's not a factor for us, but the results are really, really important.
All right, great. Thanks so much, guys. I'll sort you out with the link for match day when I get it from the Sharks.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Good luck,
Cheers,
guys.
enjoy the rest of the week.
See you there, Gav.